Hey everybody, welcome to Bumble and Acres. This is Joseph Simon. Hope you all are doing well. Today will be our first video over our home birth we most recently had. Welcome to Bumble and Acres. We are a small homestead located in southern Indiana. We raise chickens, turkeys, geese, rabbits, and pigs. Join us while we work to foster a healthy relationship between each other, our land, and our greater community. We upload new content regularly and appreciate you being with us today. Don't forget to subscribe and like our videos and share them with your friends. Thank you. Hey everybody, Joe with Bumble and Acres here. I hope you all are doing well. I am holding my 15-day-old little baby. And today, she's 15 days old. It's today. It's not going to post today. It probably will not post for a couple days. I'm actually going to I did part of the video last night. I'm going to do kind of filler video or what needed to be done today. During my videos, I will refer to my wife. Or I'll say your wife, my wife. That is because my partner was my wife. Therefore, it's easier for me to refer to my wife as the partner. Change that to apply to whoever your partner is, or whoever the partner is that you are assisting. Wanted to once again make sure that our intentions were clear on this. I'm not a doctor. I am purely the partner of a wonderful woman who 15 days ago brought my little girl into this world. So that's important to notice. My wife at some point, should she get the time and desire, will do a video from her perspective. But this is frankly just from a partner's perspective, discussing home births, why we did it, and what I've learned from it, and what I feel is important for someone who's thinking about home birthing. You'll see me alternating between outside and inside with some regularity as I edit this video together. Yesterday my daughter was 15 days old. Obviously today she is 16 days old. We had our home birth. She was born August 21st at 11 o'clock in the morning after 20 and a half hours of labor. As I'm editing this video and putting it together, not only did we discuss why, not only is why important, but we also talked about control and control during the labor process. It is important both as the person laboring and as the partner that you recognize that you have no control, that the control is dictated by the baby, and that that control is something that you need to be prepared for, and you manage that lack of control with as much preparation as possible, much discussion. Why we chose to home birth, why as a partner it's important. Hope that is to motivate that if you are a partner watching this video, or if you are somebody who's going through the process, if you are a pregnant lady and looking at going through the home birth process, why it's important to have to understand your motivations in the matter are important, and your motivations are important to have with your partner, whoever you are choosing as your partner, or however many people you want in your birthing process, that they need to understand your motivations as well. So my wife and me, we have a homestead in southern Indiana, and a pretty little lady, and we went to a regular gynecologist office, OGBYN office, till about the 20-week period, and that fell around Marchish was when we kind of made the decision to transfer into a home birth. With COVID and everything going on, we also felt like our privacy and our wishes in the matter would be respected, obviously, in our home environment. This was my wife's second birth, so her first birth experience was one where she did not feel like it did not meet her wishes, and so this was a chance upon which to have a birth process that was how she wanted it to be, and that you are the partner. So you assist your wife. It is not a passive role. When you do a home birth, you as a partner are an active participant and role in the birth process. It's why we chose to do a home birth. It's why I feel like home birth is important and necessary. But as a partner, you need to recognize a lot of those responsibilities that would fall on the nurse fall on you. And even if you have a midwife, which you should have a midwife, unless you've just done this many, many times and you know who, you're still going to be doing a lot of the roles. The home birth the midwife is there for literally that final stage to make sure it's progressing. But generally, the process of the birth from onset of early labor to transition to active birthing process, you're still going to be comforting your partner. You're still going to be making sure that they're prepared, happy with what's going on. So we'll talk a little bit more as I splice these videos together, but that's the why. And the why is important because you will be challenged during your home birth process. You will be tested. Your resolve will be tested. And the way that we stand through challenges and when our resolve is tested is by understanding the whys. So as the partner, you need to understand your wife's whys so that you can help when that resolve starts being tested, you're able to talk about the why. So why is what motivates us through. When you think about a home birth from the partner's perspective, so what is asked of us as partners in this home birth, I think the vital, most important understanding you need to have is that your role in it is invaluable. Your role in making sure that your wife is ready and prepared for birth. And as she goes through that process, that you've got her water ready, that you've got when her water breaks or when she goes into active labor, you're immediately filling up the birthing tub if you guys are using one of the birthing pool like we did in ours. You've got to always be, how am I preparing the environment to make this birth where all that my wife had to be concerned with was birthing the baby. She needed water. I was there with water immediately. I had water. I had the electrolyte mix ready and available. Her back was hurting. I was rubbing her back in time, there in the moment. I was proactive. More better demonstration that control is an illusion than like a home birth, because you as a partner, you have no control over what happens next. Your wife has no control over what happens next. The baby makes all the decisions about when baby's going to be here with a home birth. It's not like the hospital where they can do all kinds of artificial things to make the labor occur. My wife has told me time and time again she was only able to do it because of me. She's being generous because she did all the heavy lifting. But the reality is, while my role may be invaluable, I don't get a say in what happens. I have zero control. But you don't get to decide when the transfer occurs. You don't get to decide what position your partner should be in. You don't get to decide how she breathes. You need to remind her about breathing techniques, but you don't get to make those decisions. You're the partner. When I talk about how you don't have control as the partner, what I don't want it to come across as saying is that you don't have input. You have input. You have the right to talk. You are the partner. You have been asked to share this moment for a reason. You have a responsibility as the partner to talk about issues. So when I talk about how you have no control over the matter, what you're saying doesn't matter. It's at the time of labor. When she is in labor, she gets to make all the decisions. Now this is so important because the reality is your wife's, my wife's and your partner's state of mental health will determine a lot about that laboring process. If she's already upset, clearly out of her element, not comfortable with what's going on, the labor can stall. the labor can be more difficult. So those decisions that need to be made about the process need to occur beforehand in the prep work. I know my wife's mother is a nurse. Very, very comfortable with medical things. We knew that if we wanted a medical hand, my mother-in-law would be there in a heartbeat. Knowing that, however, we also knew that my mother-in-law and my wife have a sometimes contemptuous relationship. Very difficult at times between the two of them. It was exceptionally important to me that they not be present during the active labor process. We had made it clear when the time came for laboring that if it was possible that I would let my parents know and her parents know so they could come down, and my father lives about an hour and a half away. They could come down during the early parts of labor. But we had also made it very clear that when we went from, when we started getting into the real active laboring process, where it wasn't comfortable or pleasant, when you couldn't talk your way through the contractions, that that I was going to kick them all out of the house, and that it was just going to be me and my wife and our midwife and her assistant. We had had that conversation in advance. That's important to have. So that's input. I knew that. And I had talked with my wife about that, so that we went into the situation already aware of that issue, so that wasn't a decision that was being made the day of delivery. You want to have as much input before labor. Once labor starts, you as the partner are there to assist. Now, if your partner at that time gets upset, gets worried, starts to lose control, starts to get a little out of it, maybe starts to doubt herself, which she probably will if it gets into labor. It's not easy. She starts to doubt herself. You have plenty of room to input and talk, and that's when you re-talk the why. That's when you talk about why you're doing this and you restate it to them. You positive, doing great, contractions almost over, ride the wave, you're doing great. Remember, we're at home, you're comfortable, you're home, we're in our home, baby's gonna be born soon, in our home, like we wanted. That's good. That's affirming what you already know. That's what you need to do as a partner. You're affirming your partner. Thank you for joining us for our video today. We strive to make this functional. I know this first video is very kind of philosophical in nature, and that's important to me, and I did that purposefully. I feel like the why and understanding control are two very important things for a good partner to understand going into labor and delivery. I know there are some people who have reached out to me who are very close to delivery, and I'm going to be putting the next video over the recommendations for setup, as well as book recommendations for those who have more time to read and prepare. This is one of the longer videos. I try to keep my videos relatively short. The next one will be shorter. Setup and book reading should be a pretty simple video. This is what we did, how we set up. Ironically, I did not take, I took very few pictures from delivery day, and I didn't set up a camera or anything of that nature. It was a very private matter for our family, and my concern was to keep that environment comfortable for my wife. So wasn't 100% sure if that camera and presence would be good for the moment. And like I said, as a good partner, you need to respect the space and control that space as best as possible to make sure that it maximizes your partner's comfort. Their comfort has to be the number one most important thing as your partner. So really appreciate you watching today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment any questions you may have. I expect the next video to be up in the next 2 or 3 days. It's not going to be weeks or a week. So appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.